didn't prepare as well of so accurately describing how he's done. But I will say that through the years I've received many compliments from a lot of people about how wonderful my dad is, how always there, looking good, feeling good, and being a leading force in the room. And I always feel very proud that I have a father who is just so engaged in life. Always at the next event, always at the next show, never missing an event of our personal lives, anything like that. And so I brag on him all the time. He's not one that doesn't avoid problems. He has problems like everybody else, but he rolls through them like a bowling ball. He never goes down very long. He always finds his way back. He always bounces back, even at his age. You know, it's almost amazing. I expect him to live forever, just the way that he keeps going. So I'm very proud of the way that he engages and never lazy, always pushing, always helping. And everybody always is admiring of him, including me. But one of the things I can tell you is when you're so engaged like that, a lot of people fall off and really don't give it in every area. But I can tell you as a family, he's given it 100%. He's always been there with an encouraging word whenever we've had any difficulties. Always shown us the way that we can find within our own self the strength, personal strength to overcome whatever we're dealing with. And always just making us feel good about ourselves, even in the worst situations. So, and he was always there. Baseball games, never missed it. Always on the front row, always encouraging, always giving us compliments, even if we struck out, even if we missed, you know. Well, you're closer to the next one. Every time you strike out, you're closer to the next hit. I always felt like he always found ways to build me up, feel good about myself. So I try and be that way. I think I've come a long way in being a good father because of his example. And so I just want to say that I admire you very much. I know a lot of people, other people do, but it's great to have admiration from all your family, which you do, and that you always care, you always show it. You're always on a mission of self-improvement, greater learning, and so I'm very fortunate to be your son.
Thank you, Nelson. Thank you, Clay. Brian, we're not going to make you say anything. Well, you're welcome to, but we're not going to make. I asked one more person to make a few comments. Hank Moore, who's known Bill in many capacities over the years, so if you don't mind, Hank.
Yeah, I think I have probably the longest tenure knowing Bill, except for the family members. I met Bill Spitz back in the mid-1970s. I was 29 years old. Bill was 49. He was bigger than life. He still is. Healthier than any other three of us, and just a real achiever. He's been encouraging me now for 40 years to be my best. I have met many U.S. presidents, kings, Winston Churchill, Eleanor Roosevelt, some of the greatest of the world, but at the very top of that list is the most unforgettable person in my life. I put Bill Spitz, and I sincerely mean that. Several years ago, Bill handed me, and I'm getting ready to show you something that his family doesn't even have, the very first manuscript of a book. He had said that his grandchildren wanted to see, and now, like Phil said about mentoring, you share it, and I'm going to give it back to the family, of a book. And that book turned into something that was trying to share lessons with his grandchildren and his family, lessons from a life well lived. And I was the first non-family member to get a copy of the finished product. And I was the first person other than Bill and Joan Spitz who ever read that manuscript. So I have been reveling and benefited from Bill and his wonderful example. I remember 24 years ago, I was advising Bill during and after the roll-up, and he talked about a brand new organization he was getting involved with, Silver Foxes. So I remember his involvement from the very beginning. So it's a great honor to honor the most unforgettable person in my life, Bill Spitz.
Thank you, Hank. Well, Bill, hope you enjoyed surprises today. And I think what we have is a microcosm of what people think about you. In all fairness, however, it's time to give you the microphone in case you want to offer a word or two.
You know, what can a father say after hearing this kind of comment from a son? And Brian, you tell something about me too, because he's got a story that I'm very proud of. He asked me for permission to use the name Big State in his company because your company was built on integrity. And I'll never forget that. He's written me, he writes very well. I'll tell you something. Today is something that cannot be surpassed to me. Because what's more important than money, than time, is appreciation. When people say, you helped me. I've got a list of people that came to me and said, Bill, you changed my life. Man, that's tough. That's strong stuff. First time it happened was in Australia. God gives me a gift. I spent a month in Australia. Gives me a gift and then whispers in my ear, you changed my life. I said, how did I do that? He says, I'm not going to tell you. He says, you got to wait until I do it. He says, you had a speech on Fiji and Australia. It says, decide to decide, because the decision not to decide is a decision. And yeah, I changed lives, and I'm so proud of it. And I'm so proud of my family. And I'm so proud to be a Silver Fox. I cannot thank you, Clay, Nelson, and Brian, for taking the time today. There was another time when Al Spinks had a surprise party for me at Maxime's. If you remember Maxime's fancy restaurant. I go to this restaurant, I said, let's have a cocktail. I walk in there, they're my kids, 4 kids. They came from out of town to be with me on this special occasion. And, you know, I could go on, and you don't need to have that. But I'll tell you something, I am a fulfilled man. I had a woman living my life with me. I had a 60-year love affair with Joe. She made my life. She made everything in my life. And I miss her. And, you know, there's no way to replace somebody like that. You just say, okay, on with the show. Next problem to deal with. But, you know, this was so unexpected. You tricked me. I just want to thank all of you for what you've done, for me and my family and my life. I'll never forget it.
That's all the tricks I have for today. Mary?
This indeed brings our meeting to a close.
I want to make an announcement.
Oh, please, Bill.
Many of you got invitations to our Thanksgiving lunch, which is next Thursday, and everyone is invited, including there's some new Silver Foxes I haven't met yet, so you may not have gotten an invitation, but we do Thanksgiving, all the trimmings. This is our 20th year. Everyone is welcome. We invite over 1,000 people. We get about 250 through our place through lunchtime, so everyone please come. We enjoy having you. And also, I'm hiring a bookkeeper to replace my longtime bookkeeper that's retiring. So if anyone knows a full-charge bookkeeper, I got a job. Thank you. Super.
Thanks, Bill. Are there any other announcements before I close our meeting? Okay. Well, again, Bill, congratulations to you on your long-termness with the Silver Fox Advisors, and we'll bring our meeting to a close. The board meeting will take place in the room next door in about 5 minutes. Thanks.
Well, battery didn't run out, so.